And now for something completely different.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Strap yourself in.
Because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
This podcast is proud to be part of the Talk Sport Fan Network. Talk Sport. Powered by fans.
Right, Chris.
All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. Welcome along. This is Leicester Till I Die. If you're watching us live on YouTube or on Twitch, thank you very much. Or if you're watching us catch up on Facebook or Twitter, or want to watch and follow us on any of our socials, it's all under Leicester Till I Die TV. Otherwise, if you want to listen to us on the podcast catch up, you don't get to see our beautiful faces. That's probably very much an advantage. On your favourite podcast platform, whatever that may be, including Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and, of course, Google, that is Leicester Till I Die. Or you can ask your smart speaker to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die, and you can listen to us in full, unedited stereo, I think, these days, is it? Anyway, how are we doing? New time, new place, Monday nights, 9 o'clock. It isn't Cracker Jack, although you could say I've got a couple of cabbages with me tonight, but it's the new time for Question Time, the debate show. Thought we'd try it Monday nights because it gives us a little bit more to talk about, with obviously the weekend having just finished. It's still going on in football terms, with Liverpool beating Everton 1-0 at the moment. Well done, Liverpool. It's the Question Time, the debate show. How this works? Well, we start off with the first question, see where that takes us, and then you ask questions in the chat, and that dictates where the show goes. We will try our best to not answer your questions, because it's not a test, but we will try and discuss your questions. So get them in the chat. You decide where the show goes. First question, which I may come back to later. Is this man a cheat? I was actually on a show the other day, on a Tottenham show. It was great fun. And I had it on, and I saw him go down, and I was laughing, and they looked at me, and I said, I'm laughing because I've just seen Grealish sort of fall over his own feet. And then they awarded a penalty. Now, I'm sorry, but that is... Somebody said, when did Grealish dive? And I did actually say about 2 hours after he was caught. It is embarrassing. It is cheating. There's no other way to talk about, to describe it. Yes, somebody said the other day, sort of, if that happened to Maddison, would you be screaming for a penalty? Possibly would, but it wasn't even. I mean, how that got past VAR. But then again, let's be honest, it hasn't been a good weekend for VAR. That is something you may want to talk about as well. The VAR for tonight's game was changed at the last minute. I wonder why. Of course, we always have two absolutely lovely guests on with us. Now, I'm a bit worried. If you are a bit superstitious, because we have got the Grim Reaper on the show tonight. You know him as Brad, but he's got. I mean, this season he complained about Gerrard. He was sacked. He complained about Lampard. He was sacked. He complained about Marsh. He was sacked. And he wasn't very impressed with Jones. And he was sacked. Tell you what, don't upset him. Don't upset him because you will never, ever be seen again. Brad, scary, 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 scary. Look, this is my Michael Owen and Ron Atkinson team that I'm bringing in this. First of all, let's bring Michael Owen in. Or the Grim Reaper. Brad, good evening, sir.
Don't ever insult me again. I am not like paint drying when it comes to commentary. I can tell you that much. Never compare me to that insolent fool again. Oh dear. I'd rather be called Steve McManaman. That's saying something.
It was either that or Alex Scott, and she doesn't have a beard, so I was struggling.
I'm not too bad, mate. I'm not too bad, mate. But yeah, I'm like Goldberg, aren't I? You don't see much of me. When I appear, I tell someone they're next, and the list keeps getting longer. It's four now.
It is scary because we were only joking the other day, weren't we? About you got 3, and you said I only want Marsh Jones to go, and it's a full set. Oh, it's now 2-0. By the way.
That's a good result.
Think will go before the end of the season?
Not before the end. No, it's too late now. Teams have shown their cards as it is on the table for the season. West Ham will stick with David Moyes because there'll be 3 worse teams than West Ham, and they're picking up points just enough to keep them up. There probably might be 2 or 3 that go at the end of the season, depending on how they finish. I think Gary O'Neill will go if Bournemouth go down.
I've got to be honest with you. The Premier League managers WhatsApp group is now absolutely buzzing. As you mentioned my name, you didn't name me.
Yeah, it's crazy. Nate, I just saw you around on some other chats I've been on. But they were so obvious. I can't believe it took the clubs that long. Yeah. If I was to give the clubs a rating on how well I think they did getting rid of them, I think they come in corresponding order of in how they happen, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, if you are Michael Owen, we've obviously got to have Ron Atkinson. Good evening, Dave. How the devil are you, sir?
I've never gone in the wrong dugout before.
So you say. We would, we'd have to ask your wife that, wouldn't we?
Indeed. I'm really great, boys. It's great. This is the best Sunday and Monday I've had for a long time.
It was
incredible.
Big up, Chris and Brad. Who was the guy lifting up the trophy? I'm presuming
that's Brad, isn't it?
Yeah.
On a good day.
Yeah,
that would be me when I worked for the club, mate. And I you Arsenal fans wouldn't know what that's like, but that's the Premier League trophy, the actual Premier League trophy. I was quite fortunate that working there had its priorities during that year because that's the same one that Wes Morgan lived, not the replica.
Anthony, I think you just scored an own goal there, mate.
You set yourself up for that, mate. Come on, Anthony.
He did. That was a phase even. All 3 of them. Right, let's just, before we get going, I know it's been a long day. And I've done 3 FA. Just a quick show.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
If you check my diary, it's my cleaner coming in Wednesday morning. But 9 o'clock Wednesday night, it's the next edition of The Conversation. And we'll be talking, for those of us at a certain age, and you'll remember this guy, Dave, won't you? Go on, give it the big H. Go on. Exactly. Who is now in Canada? Well, he obviously is Canadian, so he's in Canada coaching. Thank God survived that horrendous brain injury, and we will be talking to him at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. And if you're not doing anything the following Wednesday, it's more matter this guy's joining us. Stan Collymore.
The one that got away.
Yes, exactly. And we'll be talking.
Another one Taylor got rid of, wasn't it? Eh? Another screw up.
Yes. I think that was the biggest mistake. Some players, would you not agree, guys? Some players, you kind of accept what comes with them, if you like, And obviously there's things in his non-football side that we don't talk about because it's nothing to do with football and, it's his private life. But, if only him and Heskey could have stayed together a bit longer.
That's the biggest what if you could write about Leicester's chapters recently. Forget fixing something to maybe get us into the next round of the Champions League or something like that. The biggest what if is what would Leicester have achieved had they had Colin Moore and Heskey as a partnership, because you will forever wonder if certain silverware would have come to us maybe earlier, how it would have affected it. It's one of them things. We had it in the palm of our hands, and then O'Neill buggered off to Celtic, unfortunately, and the rest, as I say, is history.
Indeed.
I think Heskey would have been a better player as well after playing with him a few times.
Yeah.
Colin Moore was very well. I mean, he wasn't underrated, was he? He was obviously appreciated, but he was incredible talent.
Only 11 games for us, though.
I know, such a shame.
Scored a hat-trick on his debut as well.
Yeah. And I've actually got a signed picture. It's on the wall. I will take it down for the show of Stan Collymore holding the match ball after that game. And he'll be the first to admit that one of the goals was scuffed in, but they all count. The other
two weren't bad.
No.
Yes, smashing the head off.
Yes, exactly. Oh, let's just talk about that game. It was brilliant.
What year was that, Brad? Brad, what year was that? Can you remember?
It was the year we wasn't it the year we won the League Cup? Yeah, it was 2000. 2000, because it was the year we won the League Cup, because Collymore couldn't play because he was cup tied, because obviously he'd already played.
Wasn't that the first match after? Was it Sunderland we played?
No, yeah, Sunderland at home. Yeah. Sunderland at home, 5-3.
Yeah.
For some reason, I took my youngest to that one. I don't know why, because the oldest one that was a Leicester fan, and we sat in the Cup, so it must have been, I don't know, on the tickets, but it was amazing, absolutely amazing night.
Stefan Oakes getting the free kick at the end with a little bit of a deflection.
Yeah, it was.
His best days were when he was the drummer. That's what I'll say. But what was it? There was an Oaks in Show Waddy Waddy, for those of you wondering where I've gone with that. Also, as well, and this is seriously actually on this point, is obviously he did have a very bad episode with depression, and that really sort of affected his life. And I've gone through it, and I know there's a lot of people that do these channels that are also suffering with it as well. It never goes away. It's the invisible disease, and I'm sure we will have a talk about that as well, because he's quite an advocate for depression in men and getting it out there and getting it known. Because we are all men and we don't like to admit that something's wrong with us. But I tell you something, guys, if you are in that position, admit it, ask for help, because that is the first step on the road to recovery.
Do you think the club could have done more for him then?
I don't think he was at Leicester at the time. I think he was when he was possibly even at Liverpool, or he just left.
It was always there though, Chris, wasn't it?
It was always there. I don't think he was with us long enough. Let's be honest, 11 games, But let's just have a look at what we're going to talk about today, because it was a good weekend. Apparently, we know what the answer is now. He certainly wasn't on the pitch, and as I keep asking every Spurs fan that I come into, when are you going to bring him on? Because I don't think he was playing on Saturday 4-1. But this is what I want to start us off with today, because I know what I feel. Should Kelechi Iheanacho be our first choice striker now? He's always played a bit part. Daka was brought in, and everybody, me included, presumed that Daka was going to be the natural successor to Vardy. We all said that, Iheanacho couldn't play up front on his own. Now he's got, he is 2 games he's played in that position, but he's had Barnes on one side, Tete on the other, which of course we didn't have before. And because we've got Tete, Maddison's now more that number 10 role behind him. And it's all kind of just fitted into place. Dave, let's start with you. He's got to be, hasn't he?
Well, I'd have thought so. 1 game doesn't make a season, does it? Or 2 games?
No.
But it's the first time he's actually played further up front. He's normally sitting behind, and that's where Maddison should play, and he did. And it made so much difference. It was incredible. I mean, every time we went forward, we looked dangerous. And everyone goes on about, under par Tottenham and, lazy Tottenham. No, we were good. We were good. We were on them all the time. It was like an FA Cup game, the old days. We were at them, snapping at them. And I mean, I can't believe how cool he was. I was sort of behind him when he got that goal. And I thought, you've blown it, mate. You should have hit it early on or laid it off. And he stopped and had a look round, had a fag, cup of tea, and and just slotted it in the corner. It was absolutely incredible to watch from behind him because it didn't look like it had any pace at all when he hit it. And you think that is confidence. So play him every game without doubt.
I mean, Brad, as you know, I've been on two Spurs channels since then, and I was actually in Jake's chat earlier. I was in the chat, not on the show. I didn't realise that one of the people that were on there was actually a Tottenham fan. And when he came to the game, he said, Leicester didn't even play that well. We were that bad, and Leicester didn't even have to play and didn't play that well. And I'm like, typical Spurs thing to say, isn't it?
It can be. I mean, every fan base has that section of it. We say about different subjects. Every fan has their own opinion, and we fall into a category of our own in one way. But to answer your question about Iheanacho, he is. It didn't look that way. I agree with you when we signed Daka, and when we all saw what Daka could do. But this clearly has to be the way forward, because this isn't the first time we've seen this from Iheanacho.
No,
when he had a run of games. His first couple of games, okay, he might have had a bad touch. He's capable of that. He's susceptible to that. We accept that because sometimes his feet gets ahead of the game in a way. It looks the way he sometimes controls the ball and then doesn't. In the same sort of pass can be hilarious to watch at times. But we've always known what he's capable of. I mean, we had that season where it was 2 up front. And I said, I think in the post-match, this was the first time we played Iheanacho up front on his own. And like Dave said, we actually played to his strengths. I mean, talking about that goal as well, Dave, it's not the first time he's finished something so nonchalantly. I think a couple of goals he's had against Spurs before, they're just like he's put it effortless. I think the last one I remember, I think he scored a hat-trick against Sheffield United at home, and he just nonchalantly rolled the ball in. The lad's got confidence, and if he can hit a ball from the edge of the box so nonchalantly, perfectly into the corner, I'm all for him starting and playing and being right with Maddison, because those two. Sorry, did someone say Drinkwater and Vardy? Because that's what it feels like. You want to make comparisons. The way them two have linked up over when they've played on the pitch together, they look so like what you desire in a striker formation. You want that midfielder to work in tandem with him, and boy, do them two connect like gold dust.
The thing is, though, Dave, and I'm on side totally with you here. Like I say, I don't think he should have been dropped after that season. Like you say, when he played up front with Vardy, and he was top scorer, and yet he didn't get a game for ages. If we do that, it means that Vardy is not going to be a starter again. I mean, it's going to be different if we've got 2 games in the week, or if we've got an FA Cup or a cup game or whatever. I get that, but I've asked this, and I know what I would say about this, but we've got to say, is Vardy droppable?
Yeah, I think so now. I think it's different now, isn't it? It's not droppable, it's restable. And I think that's how they play it. We've got a squad that, apart from the odd 1 or 2, have you noticed how our fortunes have changed since Amati's not played? Just thought I'd mention that. But
you know what? I had a feeling we would time it, Chris. Time it at 20 minutes. That's how long it
20
takes.
minutes and 4 seconds it was. He wasn't with us last week. He was. We got through the whole show without a Marty comment. He was off. He was off doing his bounty hunter job.
I think with Vardy, he's going to be happy to be part of it all. He knows, he's not what he was.
Yeah.
He needs to score goals, and I'm not seeing anything that shows me he's going to do that now. I mean, he had was it Villa? No, somewhere he had 2 or 3 gilt-edged chances and just couldn't even get hold of them. And I know it's a fantastic shame, but God, he's done well, hasn't he? We've had the best out of him. He can still do a job because he's still got that pace. But they have to play differently when Vardy's on the pitch, and I don't think we can do that. Tielemans can. He's pretty keen to play the early ball through, but we don't play like that anymore. With the drink water, Tielemans is drink water. Really,
you could argue though that we have been doing that in the last 2 games, which is why we've run them, because the high defensive line was at the halfway line for the majority of the last 2 games, wasn't it? Sorry, Chris.
I think we just play quick 1-2 football, and we know what we're doing.
Yeah, we just look better.
There's a plan for that, and we know where everybody's going to be. And even Barnes had a good game on Saturday. All the time. I can't think of anybody. I mean, ironically, Mendy, who's incredible, but he could have put us in right trouble a couple of times. But Iheanacho is just playing out of his head. He's confident, and why drop somebody when they're feeling that good?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Brad, it's like a jigsaw football team, isn't it? That you can't force wrong pieces into wrong areas, and Iheanacho obviously has benefited from the signing of Tete.
No doubt. Yeah.
Also, Barnes, I think, has benefited from the signing of Tete. Even Madison. I mean, it's because it gives us that other option. And I said this to you on the post-match reaction on Saturday night, that I've got to get out of my head that Vardy's going to come on and get a goal every time he touches the ball. Like Dave said, those times have gone. What he did was he came on when we were comfortably in the game, in the lead. He terrorised let's be honest with you, was not a particularly good Tottenham defence. But
England international at centre half, mate.
Well, yeah. I don't think there's many people want to.
So is Tyrone Mings. That's not saying much.
No. Yeah. I think he makes the Marty look good, doesn't he? But I forgot what the question is now, Dave. What was I saying?
But Vardy. But
Brad
Vardy's now, that's his role, isn't it? And we can't expect the ball in the net every time he comes on.
No, and you're right. I did say that the dynamic of what Vardy's going to do in the games, because I don't think any player with any sense would like to see someone of Jamie Vardy's bulldog-like approach to the game coming on when you're 4-1 down. It's like, we've been beaten enough. Do you really need to drag me from pillar to post for the last 5 minutes? I don't want it. And if it's a bonus if another goal comes from it, because it can get you so deflated that you make another mistake and then again, and you add another one to the total. And I think Leicester fans should be, in a weird way, I think we should be relieved that we're now looking at Vardy going, yeah, here we go. Now he's the impact sub, because we were fearing it last season. Now we were still kind of fearing it this season, and that's why we were like, God, look at us. We're relying on Jamie Vardy to play Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday sort of thing, or vice versa in terms of that. And we're going, God, we're still relying on Vardy, and he's not scoring. What we're going to do? We have to, like you say, Chris, it has to now be cemented that that's the man he's trusting going forward, Brendan. And even if, over the next couple of games, maybe Man U away, he doesn't maybe have let's just say he doesn't have the greatest game, and let's just say you know, Man U have a really good outing on us because they're a good team in good form and we get beat, right? Don't just drop him. Keep him going. Let him go at Arsenal and let him go at Blackburn and watch him keep his form going. You need to back him now and you need to have that feel-good factor because if we get to the end of the season and we're still trying to figure out if it's him or Daka, Vardy's going to be in America. Then who are we going to depend on to do it if we can't decide it? He's deserved it. He's warranted it. And I think it benefits all three of them. It benefits Iheanacho, obviously. It benefits Vardy because he can still do his stuff and maybe nick a couple of goals to see out his career to add to the tally. And it benefits Daka because he can learn, he can grow, he can keep adapting. And then maybe next season we'll see if Brendan Rodgers wants to stay with one up front, he's going to play second fiddle. If not, he might go two, and we'll see what the future holds. But it has to be stuck on now that this is the man he's going to back to see the season out.
I agree. And Dave, I mean, you know, we forget how long he's been with us, Iheanacho. And like Brad said, we've got to stick with him. And I think, again, as Brad said, it will benefit Daka as well because Daka came in and, you know, was basically thrown straight into the team. Now, some players adapt to that. He who must not be named took to it like duck to water. Other, you know, players that you bring in, Sumare, for example, take a little bit longer. And I think Daka could be one of those. And I think he will benefit from it as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you remember when Iheanacho started, he couldn't score from a 3 foot out. I mean, he just couldn't score goals. I think he got a couple in League Cup or FA Cup or something, but you just thought he'd go on and on forever. And it's all confidence. Once he starts and once he gets games, he's that sort of player that needs to play and needs to score goals and almost needs to be wanted.
Is that not the case with every striker, though? You know, putting somebody on for 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there.
I think
even Jamie Vardy would have struggled, I think.
Yeah, but he could go 5 or 6 games and shrug it off, knowing that he's going to score. I think that's slightly
10 minutes
different.
each game, do you think?
Sorry, mate?
But we're still only getting, 10, 15 minutes every game. So that's all Iheanacho was getting, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's right. And so how can you have a player expecting to work miracles? We're saying you shouldn't expect Vardy to come on now and score. Well, we were expecting Kelly to come on and score, weren't we?
Yes,
It's no different. But once he starts playing and once people play with him and know how he plays, then I think we're on something special.
Yeah. Brad, we've got Man United up at the weekend. We've got Arsenal the following Saturday. In between that, we've got... after that, we've then got Rovers in the FA Cup. I was worried going into this. I was thinking, Aston Villa, this could be the game we need to win because it's the only place we're going to get any points from. Suddenly, and I'm not saying we're going to go and smash United. That football doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But I feel confident in going into those 2 games now that we could actually get something from them.
Yeah, and that's what happens when the scoreline matches the performance. Both performances, despite conceding goals early on, that we said it, and we don't want to get carried away with ourselves because we know what false dawns and Leicester go hand in hand. But you look at the way they played the game and the way they got the goals and the way they did it. It was like that's the side. That's that side that played like that and got us up to the realms of 3rd and then 4th and 5th and whatnot. I know ultimately we finished 5th them seasons, but that's the way they went about the business. Shrugged the shoulders, didn't care, got on with it, head down, we're going to still win this game. And you're right, Chris, it's fun, cliche as it is, it's a funny old game, football, because I was like you, I was thinking, have to win against Villa because maybe we'll get a draw against Chelsea because they're the draw specialists with Potter in charge. Maybe we can salvage something against Spurs, but Arsenal, Chelsea, to a degree, and even Manchester United, the next 3 out of 4 games, I was writing them off. Hoping we'd get 4 points on my next 2 games, and hope that teams keep dropping points around us so it doesn't impact us. Now, Chris, I'll say it. I don't see where we lose them games. So if we play like we did, if we play like we have done in the last, if you want to be uber critical, game and probably, 65 minutes, because after the first 20 minutes of a bit of ping pong football, we took the game by the scruff of the neck against Villa. But that and pretty much the entirety of the Spurs game, if we play like that, there's no reason we don't stand a real good chance of either beating them or at least getting a result from them that's positive.
I mean, Dave, Anthony says there, obviously being an Arsenal fan, you'll beat Man United definitely. Arsenal, then that's a challenge. If I'm honest with you, I think the Arsenal game would maybe be a little bit easier because there's a few teams there. Like Tottenham, who we've just played, they're stuttering. They win one, lose one, draw one. Arsenal, all right, they lost one the other day to Everton. Shows they are beatable. Shows they are human. They could only draw with Brentford. Now, I would say that the Leicester of a few weeks ago, we'd be talking different. And I'm not going to say we're going to go and definitely beat Arsenal. Of course I'm not. They're top of the league for a reason. They deserve to be there this season. But I actually do feel confident that we will get something from that game.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is our record against Arsenal. And even in our league winning year, I think they did the double over us, didn't they?
I was feeling happy then, Dave.
Although our home record against them has improved.
It's happy and it's happy.
It's not great, is it? It's not a great record. It's probably the worst.
Our home record's got better, though. Our home record against them's a bit better than...
A bit. I can't remember. I'm just trying to think. Anyway, I think Arsenal are going a bit stale. That's the good thing. I don't know when Jesus is due back.
I'm right here.
Easter, isn't it? See, back at Easter, sort of like that. But
back for a couple of days. Yes, nice one.
Yeah, thank you. I'm here all week. But I do think they're going a bit stale. They've played a similar team pretty much all through, haven't they? Which is what we did when we won it. But I do wonder if that could be the problem.
I think the game that worries me, Brad, is actually the Southampton one.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about that at all.
Suddenly, let's say we get 2 draws, and to be honest with you, if you gave us a draw against Man United and Arsenal a few weeks ago, we'd have bit your hand off, wouldn't we? But we don't go into that Southampton game thinking, look, with the dogs bees again.
Well, no, obviously there is the concept that Leicester could do that because again, it's Leicester. We know what we're fully capable of, good and bad. But I'm not really that bothered about that, as worried about it. That fixture's a long way off, and you'd have to see where Leicester are at that point. If we're getting results out of the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea, and Manchester United along that way, I don't think there's a reason we go and get turned over by unemployed FC. I just don't see it. We'll see. I mean, if they have a masterstroke in their appointment, like some of the others have done, when they've replaced managers, I said they'd get sacked, then I'll worry about it then. But right now, I mean, you're talking about a team that found another, that actually had the 9 men in their way and didn't go on to win 9-0. They found a way to embarrass themselves with 10 men again, didn't they? Southampton. We're talking about a team that don't like 10 men, whether it's for or against them, they lose the game. So, yeah, I'm not worried about them right now.
No. Dave, you mentioned him earlier. Anthony's put a question in. We'll come to that in a second. But, you mentioned everybody's favourite defender. Well, certainly 2 of the 3 of us like him. He's been dropped, and I kind of guess it was always going to happen. But this is like a back 4 that have played together once, is it? Twice?
That's the second time.
Second time there's a 4. A team that put 6 past us before could only get 1 past us this time. And I agree with you with Amartey. As much as I like him, obviously he does not get into the starting lineup now. But look at those. I mean, look at those centre pairing now, centre back pairing. And as much as I love Soyuncu, he's not going to get into that, is he?
No, not at all. Not at all. And I must say, Christensen was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
His fitness levels and his ability and his brain. I mean, it's awesome. I'll tell you, that back four. Of course, Ricardo popped on as well for 10 minutes.
For him to come back.
He looked all over the place, but it's good to see him back. So, we're all right. We're all right. And Danny Ward had a good game, apart from there's one cock-up where I don't know what went on. I don't think they listen to him when he calls.
If you're on about the Castagna moment, that was just a misjudgment on the pace of the ball back. Danny Ward did apologise to Castagna for it because he was going to kick it out long, but he wanted it in his box just in case, so he had the opportunity to pick it up. And when he realised it didn't have the legs on it, he did freeze. So there was a little bit of a cock up.
I didn't see it that way, mate. But
no. Danny Ward was actually apologising to Castagna. I actually brought it up on the page. He did actually say it was only a quick pan to the camera, but you saw Danny Ward go, as he was literally muttering the words, "My bad, my fault."
So head in the hands then.
Yeah, sort of moment. Thankfully, not head in the hands because it was on goal.
He did not have control of that ball, did he?
No, thank God it was the left leg and not the right leg. That's all I can say.
I tell you what, though, Dave, I mean, like you said about Christensen, I mean, just before we conceded the goal, and again, it was unlucky because his foot was going the right way when I look at it now, and it just skidded off it, and the Tottenham guy almost just stood there and let it go off him. But just before that, somehow, he got the ball via his knee to go over the crossbar. But he was celebrating the fans like he'd scored. When he scores a goal, God knows what the celebration is going to be like.
I mean, that passion seems to have come back, and they've only been there 2 or 3 weeks, haven't they? But they just seem to want to play together, and that's half the battle. Because I'm not sure some of the guys that are playing after the Christmas, after the World Cup, really wanted to be there. Really don't.
Well, it's like I say, we don't know how long it will last because obviously injuries, rear their ugly head, and we do know Brendan's penchant for liking to change a winning team, but he hasn't done for 2 games. So fingers crossed. But before we come on to Anthony's question, I brought this up as a joke at the start, but I do want to ask: Is this cheating, Dave?
Yeah. No doubt. It's a form of cheating that actually Vardy managed to get right, where you put your leg in the other guy's way. So you leave your leg hanging so he can take it out and you get a... In fact, actually, Vardy got booked and sent off, didn't he, against West Ham for doing that?
Yeah.
But that was cheating, no doubt about it.
Brad, should we be surprised, or do you think it's cheating? And should we be, surprised when you've got a club like Man City that like to cheat FFP as well? Allegedly, yes.
The thing is, and I think we've probably had this topic up before on a show. I'm sure we have, or it's become a topic of conversation before. Where, unfortunately, the one smudge stain on the game that we don't like is this is the norm in football. We can sit here and say, was it cheating or not? I'll be honest with you, I have to give my my best manager's impression here and say I haven't seen it yet. I actually haven't seen it properly all the way back. I've seen people going on about it, but I haven't actually
all right, Arsenal.
But well, I've seen enough outrage about it to kind of guess that he barely got touched, and then 20 years later he fell down. That's the part of the game that you don't like. I understand because Maddison's very clever, isn't it? You say about Vardy there, Dave, but Maddison wins his free kicks by leaving his standing leg, twisting and turning and getting taken down. It's never really much contact with players like that, but it's their momentum, it's the way they do things to do it. Jack Grealish, though, from what I can gather from the fact that it sounds like he got caught and then took about 20 strides and then fell down. If that's
caught, well, somebody said earlier about his foot being clipped. I don't know. I was watching it on the telly, which obviously doesn't give you a wide pan of the game always. And at that point, it was just showing him going over. And there was nobody, like I say, around him. And I'm laughing. And like I say, Spurs fans are saying, like, you know, what you're laughing at? I said, oh, Grealish has just fallen over, you know, his own shoelaces. And then there was a penalty. I'm like, what the, you know? As far as I could see, the Villa guy sort of, yes, he touched him, but go down straight away. Don't stumble on for a couple of things and then theatrically go down.
Yeah,
and,
I think,
you know, I know VAR has had a really bad weekend, but
yeah,
like I've said many, many times, VAR should be looking back at games and taking moments like this and go, okay, yellow card. And then when they get up to the you know, added on to whatever they get in the games, and they get banned because they've reached so many, I always say the managers will tell them not to do it. But that is cheating in my book.
I think it's the sort of thing that, I don't know, probably Neville or somebody would say that he won the foul. He's a very clever footballer. Because, yeah, he was looking for the foul. He was looking for the penalty. So
if he was a clever footballer, he would have gone down when contact was made.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't you reckon if he could be seen as trying to stay up?
Yeah.
Never stood up. So it could be seen the opposite way. You know,
see, I do. No, I don't. I disagree with you there. I'm with Dave on that one. I think sometimes, you know, we demand that footballers always try and stay on the field, and the referee shouldn't be brought by someone going down with theatrics. And I'm not saying that he didn't go down theatrically, but if you're a player in his role, or even a striker, if you're in a striker, you're telling me you want that ball. If you can see a clear run at goal, you're wanting to take that run at goal and take the shot on. You're not necessarily at that point in the moment actually wanting the free kick. It's when you can't go anywhere and you want to manufacture yourself a bit of room for either a pass or to get brought down and win your side a free kick. I just say yes. It looks silly because he's taken about 15 strides and then he's gone down. But if the referee's going to give it, then that's up to the referee and that's up to VAR. But you know, it's a stark contrast from saying that he does that when you consider some players do it and they roll 40 yards on the floor and bounce their way into the box.
But they make it difficult to choose. And like I say, don't get me wrong, I'm the first one to say that, you know, Vardy's and indeed Maddison, you know, can sometimes go down very easily and instigate a penalty. But if he wanted to stay on his feet, he could have done. Because he stayed on his feet for two sort of runs after that and then decides, oh, hang on. But nobody was around him.
He's in the box, though, Chris, wasn't he?
He could have.
He was in the box. Big difference.
Yes, he's in the box, and then if he went down and decided, like, I'm going down, that is cheating.
Yeah, I agree with you. But referees, they're not the brightest people in the world, are they, at the moment? And they're not getting much help from VAR, so they're not even refereeing anymore. They're leaving it.
So much so that they're sacking VAR.
Well, it'd be nice.
They just need to get referees off and get somebody with brains on.
Well, yeah, because
the short supply of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the linesman started it, or whatever they're called, assistants. They don't make a decision. They watch for the referee, then they point their flag in the same direction.
They're not allowed to. Yeah, they're not allowed to make a decision.
Well, that's where the game's rubbish then, because that's their job. Their only job is to see who's throwing it is and watch the line for offside. They can't do either of that. So what are they doing there? What's the point? Really? You know,
I think most referees turn around and say, look, I will give the decision, but if I don't give the decision, I will look at you to see what you've given. But like you say, you see it 9 times out of 10, the referee blows, he makes a decision, and then the flag goes up agreeing with him. I just think we need to see less of it in the game, which even from my team, and we need to get these players sorted out afterwards. We've got VAR. These matches can be watched back. or get ex-players in that know what they're talking about, not having referees judging referees.
Yeah, but if you noticed as well, how many players now go down? There was a couple in the Leicester game, and then their arms go straight up and they're waving it as if they're dead, well, nearly dead, and then they're up running. I mean, what is all that about? It's
what they're taught. It's what they're taught.
It's cheating again, you know.
By whom?
Yeah.
What? To stop
It's
the
like we
game,
say.
or-
It's like we've said about other topics, though, in terms of FFP, and you know when we talk about the Chelsea spending and saying that they found a clever little niche loophole. It's all players are doing, and suddenly it's what they're taught as kids.
Yeah.
We're seeing it at young rates of simulation. They're taught to go for the loophole. Then, if you feel contact, you're told to go down these days, no matter how minimal it is. And that's the biggest problem that we could fix in football and choose not to. Is we're actually, these coaches and these managers are looking at it going, oh, we need to get ourselves up the pitch. We've got a good set piece maker. We need to make the most of loading players in the box because we've got a load of torment. Whatever the reasons are, they'll go, well, if you feel a bit of contact, go down. Chance your arm. You never know. As long as there's contact, you can't get booked for diving. So take it. And if you get a free kick, brilliant. And that's where, you get these number 10 maestros because they add a little bit of flair to your team and it piddles people off. And then you wallop them and catch the heel. And thank you very much. It's a free kick. We love it when it's done right, and when it's deceptive, we get a bit embarrassed if we're supporters of the club.
Yeah.
We do it with Maddison, don't we? When he goes down and he's not been caught, you're thinking that's a bit embarrassing, Madders. Probably even get annoyed at him because he's lost us the ball. But unfortunately, until something's done about it, it's going to be part and parcel of football for a long time.
Morris used to do it a lot, didn't he, when he first came to us?
Mm-hmm. Tete might do it at some point as well.
Well, he might. Yeah, it's that. I hate to say it, but it wasn't the English way in the olden days.
It's a pace merchant's way, isn't it, now?
Yeah. But we used to, you'd say you'd get laughed at if you did it. So you just got up and got on with it and kicked him back.
Let me just see.
Now it seems...
This might get clipped afterwards, but let me just see if I can do this. I'm hearing some radio or something in the background off one of you.
There's nothing going on my end. I've got nothing powered up except for my phone.
I can definitely hear something in the background.
You might be able to hear my housemates through the floorboards, but there's nothing I can do.
I think it's like it might be, Dave, it might be you with, you were saying before about the echo. It could be you. But let's just have a look at this, because I think I'm going to...
Left leg in front of him, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean... Does that did he change your mind at all?
It's the thing is though, you ask any striker and any attacking coach, they will tell you when you're running at a certain bit of momentum, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, we've all played football on the park, and that when we're running through, and one of our mates has clipped us, and he's felt like he's barely touched you, and he's probably caught you, grazed your Nike tick on your football boot, and you felt like you've just been run over. Momentum and pace and speed just does that to a player, and again that we talk about. I remember when you used to go to like a work site and that, and then the one day you showed a bit of strength, they were claiming you had like your Weetabix, didn't you? You say, oh, he's had his Weetabix day, he can do all that, and these players, they don't eat them, do they? They get taught. It's all about fitness, physique, and a thin line, isn't it? You don't have a Razor Ruddock or a Gazza on the pitch anymore. You have your Grealishes that are slim six-packers and Gucci models and whatnot, don't you? That go down at the slightest touch, which disappointed the girlfriends and the wives, but that's a different topic. But a little bit of unnecessary momentum to go down there. I will give you that. The momentum is a bit silly. It's very silly, but the initial contact, if he goes down, I still think there's cause for this day and age that gets given.
Thing is, what we love about football is that it's not always black and white, and we all see things the different way. And we'll be seeing things the Leicester way again straight after.
Hello,
this.
Matt Elliott here. Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
Indeed, do what the X-Fox says there. Get subscribing and smash those likes buttons. Leicester Till I Die across all your social media platforms. Anthony was asking earlier, question, would Brendan play the same team and tactics? And if so, could you finish mid-table? Dave, let's come to you first with that one.
Yeah, no doubt. Will he do it? Who knows? I doubt it somehow. I think against Man United, he'll go back to the way he played against Man City at home. But it's for 75, 80 minutes, defend, which would be such a shame.
It would, totally. Brad, what do you think?
I don't know, everything says that Dave's right and he'll do that. But there's a part of me that thinks that, sometimes in the world of football, in the world of a football manager, of being a manager of a footballing club, you kind of just mess around with things until you can get certain things your way. And it might be a style of play, it might be fresh players in like Leicester have had, it might be return, you might have a bulk of players that you need to return in, and or if you're Leicester, you might have all of the above. You might have injured players that you want to bring in, and you want to get a style of play going. And right now, Brendan Rodgers has suddenly struck oil in terms of, he's had them new players, he's had returning players, so maybe he doesn't feel the need to go all hands on deck defending, putting 9 men behind the ball and trying to lump it up to Vardy to run to. He now feels he has that ability to allow the players to have that freedom. And while it's scoring 4 goals a game and bringing you home points, even he would be stupid and too stubborn to want to change that. I feel that even if we don't win against United, if we have a cracking game on our hands and we're gutted that we lose 2-1 or 3-2, this will continue until it starts to not work, if that makes sense. I don't see him changing, not just the team. And yes, I mean Tielemans. I do mean Tielemans in that, because Mendy doesn't deserve to get dropped after that. But also, I don't see him changing it, and I just don't see a reason to. And if it's going to get you points like it's doing right now, why would you as well? You'd be foolish to try and stop Man United at the moment. In fact, the best thing you can do against United is get at them quickly. And if we could do that,
I know what you mean. We've got some breaking news.
Catching up with the latest news on LTID Radio.
We have got news that Wout Faes is no longer the top scorer for Liverpool since the World Cup.
Yeah.
He's now only the joint top scorer, because Mo Salah managed to get the first goal, Gakpo got the second, as Liverpool beat Everton 2-0. And I've got to say that I was only one off, because I went 2-1, and there's only me got any points from that game tonight. Which
stupid Liverpool.
I needed this week. I needed, but it
although didn't I get max points from this second outing of Man U Leeds? So I think you did need that result for you, Liverpool one, didn't you?
Man United Leeds, I am not sure. Leeds Man United, no, because what was yes, you did. I think I think you possibly went 0-3. So whatever the score was there, I haven't just got them written down here.
No worries. I know I've done all right on one of them, because I definitely predicted Man U to win on both of them. So I know I haven't on one and one on the other.
Has kept Everton in the bottom 3. So the bottom 3: Southampton bottom with 15, Bournemouth 19th with 18, Everton 18 with 18. It's all looking rosy, Dave. I just think I expected him to make changes for the Tottenham game. He didn't, apart from the one that was enforced on him. And obviously, there's going to be changes because of injuries. I get that. But can you drop Mendy to bring Tielemans back in for that? Or would you drop Kieran Dewsbury-Hall to bring Tielemans in? Or would you just keep Tielemans on the subs bench?
Yeah, I'd keep it the same. No doubt about it. There's no reason to change it. No reason at all. But changing the subject, though, a little bit, You should have seen the first goal for Liverpool. Pickford went walkabout in the box. He's a terrible goalkeeper. How he can play for England is beyond me.
Anybody who's going on about talking about goalkeepers, though,
You got to watch it, Chris. You got to watch it.
I didn't see. It was there, but I didn't actually see the goal. But talking about that,
I think Danny Ward's playing better, more confident. He's had a run as well. I mean, he's been a number 2 for what, 5 years? Is it 6 years? Maybe, I don't know.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, so he's. I think he's had a decent season. I think the rest of them deserve. If anybody gets dropped from that team, they should be gutted because it's not right. And I think he'll keep the same team.
It's confidence, isn't it, Brad? You know, that team has virtually come off 2 games that we've won against top 11 sides. I can't see what he would gain by. If he's not going to change it for Tottenham, why are you changing it for Man United if he does?
There's 2 possible reasons. It's Tielemans and it's Brendan Rodgers. They're these 2 reasons. We know why. So, you know, we've said it. We've had this question thrown at us many times about playing. Does he play? Is he bothered to play for Leicester? His contract. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm almost about sick and tired as the conversation about Tielemans and his future at Leicester as I am here in Pillypool. And I nearly said something else then, so I do apologise because this does trigger me, this. But it almost annoys me about as much as hearing Danny Ward shouldn't be our number 1 goalkeeper and we should give it to a guy who's played in 1 cup game against Stockport County. No, please not. Let's not. Thank you very much. I'm kind of glad that's gone away. I'm kind of glad that probably out of all the players that you kind of deserve a bit of good form and a bit of reward for their efforts this season, Kelechi Iheanacho being amongst a few names, Danny Ward's definitely one of them. But Tielemans, for me, you know, I'd be saying the same if it was Maddison that wasn't performing and was dropped for that game and Mendy had come in. You cannot walk back into that team. There is nobody in there that has a divine right to say, I play every week, unless we see a performance like that. If Kelechi Iheanacho gets told, thanks, but no thanks, go to Manchester United, I'd be contemplating my agent to see who wants me. And someone thinking, well, I can't do enough here at Leicester. You know, there's some players here that are going to put in a performance to either hopefully impress other teams or impress enough to get a contract at Leicester if they're wanting to stay. And if that's the effort you're going to see from players like Mendy, too right, he should be agreed if he's dropped. I wouldn't even drop him for Kieran Dewsbury Hall either, Chris, because, you know, if Mendy's doing the job that he wanted from Tielemans, then why would you drop him to do Dewsbury Hall's job, who's been doing it very, very well for the majority of his career?
Yeah, I mean, you'd only drop him for Samari, wouldn't you? And he's not really up to it at the minute.
But again, you know, when he's fit, you don't just walk back into any team, in my opinion. I mean, you know, I said at the start, I understood why he was playing Tielemans, because he could be the difference between us staying up or going down. And yet, while we lose him, let's make the most of him while we've got him. But we've now played 2 games. I mean, all right, he played against Aston Villa, but to my mind, he was a bit like Kane on Wednesday. I wasn't impressed with him. But we've seen against Tottenham, we can win without him. And yes, it was a poor Tottenham side, but Man United are hit and miss. Are we seeing another Peter Taylor, Junior Lewis partnership coming here, Dave?
No, thank God. Nobody could be like that.
Oh, I don't know. Brad, would you agree we're not seeing that with Tielemans and Rodgers?
I think the thing is, though, and I heard you mention it, I think on the Spurs show you was on earlier, where you said, look, Brendan Rodgers is a good man manager. Yes, you admitted that on their podcast. You said that, you know, Brendan Rodgers is a good man manager.
That, Brad. You didn't have to repeat
so don't worry. All these times he gets us, I know when to strike at the opportune moment. So you heard it here first, folks. Every time Chris says that he's a clown at man management, you can come on here and say, but Chris, you were on a Spurs show saying he was good at it.
Did he say good or great?
Well, both. He said he was a good man manager. He said it was a good one. He's got that on. Sorry, Chris. Sorry.
Just writing it down there.
But no,
all right. Anyway, moving on.
Chris.
I knew you'd do that. But no, I honestly.
Harry can go as well because he's writing it down.
He's bullying as well. Oh dear. But no, on a serious note, I think he's just managing the situation and the player as it is. We know his situation. We've probably realistically, as fans, feared it, if not knowing it, for 2 years of his contract, let alone his last year. I think we really knew it last season, and we were sort of hoping and praying someone would come in and be willing to pay his price, and we wouldn't have to have this conversation in a way, especially if we knew what we knew with the FFP and what we wanted from the summer transfer window. And now it's just kind of like, I think the realization is that unless he has a sudden change of heart, he's going to walk off into the sunset and say, thank you very much, Leicester. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed my time, but pasture's new. And I think that's very difficult. And I think we have to give credit to Brendan to manage that, because clearly, to a degree, it doesn't seem, even though the performances have been bad, it doesn't seem to have affected the dressing room, because we've never seen Leicester when things were going good or we scored a goal in a game that we weren't playing that well, that he didn't look like he wasn't being pushed out of the group, did he? He still looked like he was a part of that brotherhood. So no, I think this was the version of Peter Taylor and Junior Lewis, in only the way of Junior Lewis being a good footballer and Peter Taylor being a good man management coach. That's what we've got. That's the only version of it we've got. But yeah,
I'm just trying to see on here. Yuri Tielemans, expected return date Manchester United. Boubacar Samari, possible return date Manchester United. So we've gone from expected to possible. Johnny Evans, possible. I don't want him to come back. James Justin, not till June. Ryan Bertrand, unknown. I don't know whether they mean that's unknown when his possible return date is, or Ryan Bertrand is just unknown now.
I think it's just become a part of his unknown status. But I think Roger said he was back in training, didn't he? So has he done himself again already?
Do you remember when years ago the Sun used to say, like, he used to say, if you see the Sun man in Brighton this weekend, go and touch him on the shoulder and say, you're the man from the Sun, and he'll give you a $5 or something. I feel like it's that with Ryan Bertrand. Like, if you see him, go and give him a shout out.
It does sound a bit lost, doesn't it? Because I forgot he was here.
He does. He does. Harry Redknapp sends brilliant Leicester City message. And we didn't just beat Tottenham. And I didn't say this on their channels because you've got to be a little bit magnanimous. I did mention the three horses and I did mention the Premier League, but you can only go so far. But we demolished them. I said to you, didn't I, Brad, on the post match? Not one of their players was in the top 5.
Yeah, don't do that, Dave. Whatever you're doing, don't do it.
Okay.
That's static. That was static, my end. I don't know if you heard it, Chris.
Yeah, I did.
I'm getting feedback. That's why I thought I'd give it a go.
Yeah, that just caused static, I'm afraid. Okay. I think it might be because you held the mic piece. Yeah, it was. And you know what, Chris? It was nice, wasn't it? I think I may have popped in the chat earlier in the day saying it was nice that we were on the right end of the thrashing for a change, because it's not always been pleasant in these high-scoring games with Tottenham. We had one this season already, and we've had a few before that. So, yeah, to not just beat them was nice. To thrash them was even better, and it was one that we rather enjoyed watching again and again. I don't know about you guys, but I found myself trying to find any source of outrage from Spurs that I could find as well, because it was nice to enjoy.
They all want Conte out at the moment.
Yeah. They're also asking for Harry Suter to return Kane from his wash pile to their dressing room as soon as possible.
Yes. Dave, just to end on as I say, the BBC does rate the players. It's not the one we use. We go off Jordan Blackwell. It is a little bit more no, not so many blue tinted spectacles on. I think you'd agree, Brad. But on the BBC, where the fans vote for it, our lowest mark for a player was Danny Ward, and he got 6.50. But then again, in fairness, he didn't have really much to do in that second half, did he? Tottenham Hotspur's top player, and this is from Tottenham fans, was Son with 4.75. I mean, that sums it all up, doesn't it?
You're on mute, Dave.
Dave.
Your mic's on mute.
I can't unmute you. You've muted yourself.
You've removed a mic by looks things.
Sorry.
You answer that one. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, I was just saying Brendan Rodgers is a good man manager.
Oh, no. I said it once. No, let's not take this too far. Yeah, see, that crossed the line, Chris. Even I can cross the line now. I would never mention that again more than 50 times a show. Stop on that.
Hello, boys. How are you?
Do you remember the question?
Yeah.
Harry, I want to call you Harry now. You deserve it.
It's punishment he's getting you back.
I get away with that one. I'm allowed this now.
On the list.
Chris is marking them off against you for each one he thinks he owed.
I can't remember seeing much of Son at all. I was watching him and the positions he was taking, and he was playing pretty deep, which I think he does, doesn't he, in Bruce Ford? I thought Kane, surprisingly, was okay, but he was in midfield.
Kane only got 3.98.
Yeah, but he wasn't striking, was he? He was coming back, picking the ball, and he played one or two decent balls through, but none of them were any good. But we were just too good for him.
Yeah. Didn't their lowest player get something like 2.61? That's what I saw it at, I think, late last night or the night before.
2.63. You weren't far off. Mr. Sanchez.
Oh, well, that says it all. But we said about Kane. I don't remember Son being on the pitch. I had to jog my memory because all I could think about on that left-hand side was the Perisic when he had that moment on the left where he was bound himself in space and his old legs caved in on him. So we got back and defended it well. But I was just thinking, wait, did Son actually play? Like, what could you ask Dave first and not me? Because I was struggling to remember seeing him on the ball until I remember he lasted one over the bar.
Remind me though, guys. Just remind me. For Madison's goal, was it Faze or Suter that took the ball off Kane?
It was Faze. He was on a yellow card and it was because that's actually the tackle that Garth Crooks used for why he picked Wild Faze in Team of the Week. He said it was one of the best tackles he'd seen in years.
Yeah.
I was convinced it was Faze, but the guy on Tottenham channel earlier.
I know why though. Because Suter got an assist for Kelechi's goal, but both balls simultaneously went to Kelechi first. It was just the Faze tackle went to Kelechi, who assisted Madison's goal, but it was Suter's pass into space that Iheanacho got onto and put in through.
I think also, to be fair, Harry Kane didn't go down. He got up. He didn't moan.
Yeah, it was no Jack Grealish, was he?
Well, if it had been some other player, that could have been a foul.
You don't.
He got the ball.
You don't mean this Jack Grealish, do you? Anthony just said, I have bad news for any Leeds or Southampton fans. Neil Warnock has gone back into management at Huddersfield.
74 years of age and the man's gone back into management. How bored's he of his wife?
Dave, can you say there's hope for you yet, mate?
Well, I'm thinking of applying for the Southampton job because it's just down the road.
Yeah.
Now from where I am, and a load of my mates support them, so I'll be their hero.
No, you won't. You'll take it down.
And Leicester are guaranteed 3 points when they go down there in a few years.
That's true.
The suspicion started when Dave suspiciously played 9 up front and we only had one centre back on. We were determined not to lose the game.
And I'll get a playoff.
Exactly. just coming in here, Mike says, if we play against Man United like we played against Spurs, will we win? We were just discussing that. I don't think Man United, for me, can be as bad as Spurs, because Spurs were awful. There's the argument that, we didn't allow them to be good. I mean, I thought they were all right for the first 20 minutes, when they got the goal. But I think we'll do well against them. We've said that, haven't we, guys?
Yeah, I think the performance will be there. I'm not sure if it's winnable. Yes, we saw what Leeds did, and then they were unlucky in one game, and then I suppose you could say they were still unlucky in the second game. If you're building off them two platforms, there's no reason Leicester can't get a result. Have we got enough to win it? There's an outside chance. We've managed it before. A bit like going to the Emirates, though. It's not the easiest hunting ground for us, but winning it's a different story, but we can definitely get a draw from it, I believe.
Rashford's on fire at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You're not going to stop someone like that scoring when they're in that much form.
No.
Mike says, sorry, I'm a bit slow, old age creeping up. We know the feeling, well, two of us do. Now, I know the answer to this one for you, Dave, is obviously Daniel Amate, but we'll come to you first and say, who is your favourite player for Leicester this season?
I think Maddison, without doubt.
Simple to the point. Brad?
He's got everything, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree to a point. You'll see what I think in a minute. But Brad?
Is it too early to say Christensen? Because I already think he's great this season. His energy, and like you said, he's celebrating winning a corner, giving away a corner over and stopping a goal. The way he celebrates it, his dog must love going for walks with him if he's got one. If he celebrates things the way he does that. But no, on a serious note, it's Madders first, and then Kelechi for me. I've been impressed by both of them this season. I mean, Kelechi, just to added fact for him, 5 starts, 5 goals. It needs to be noted. He's had 5 goals and 5 starts.
Well, I can't win because you've both gone for Maddison, as indeed has Mike. I'm going to disagree with the pair of you. I am going to go for Kelechi first because, like you say, 5 in 5, and he doesn't moan when he's not being picked, and he's not being picked because he's injured. He's not being picked because Brendan's chosen, one of the other two, and he comes on and he does his job. And I'll tell you something as well. Mendy would be up there as well for me.
Definitely.
But obviously, you can't not say Maddison because when he's been on fire. But I think the fact that we said earlier, these 3 signings that we've made, it's just kind of rejuvenated the team. And the fact that they're playing that well at the back and they've been together so little time, but Tete, he's just given, he's given Barnes a new lease of life. He's given Maddison a new lease of life, and Kelechi as well, just by having a decent player on that wing.
Well, also Maddison's playing where he should be now. Which, if you remember, my moans over the last few weeks or months have been that they're playing Maddison out wide right, and
I only remember your moans about a certain centre back.
Yeah, see, you only concentrate on one thing. I have more to contribute than that.
But it's just in our chocolate tin celebrations.
It's not all about Amate,
Hey! Give me that one. Guys.
But no, he's back in the centre where he wants to play and where he's good, and it's going to make a hell of a difference.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it'll get him back in the England team as well, or get him in the England team because that's where he's good. Yeah.
We will see. Maybe if he gets his move, Southgate will suddenly discover what a good player he is. Who knows? Dave and Brad, thank you very, very much for your time tonight.
Nice to see you, boys.
9 o'clock is our time. Dave, how did your prog rock show go?
Well, actually, I did listen to it, funnily enough, not on the day because I think we were coming back from somewhere. But yeah, it was all right. It was good fun. Next one's not till first Saturday in March.
And where can people listen into that? If they're into a bit of the old
Surrey Hills
blog?
Radio, surreyhillsradio.co.uk. Listen live.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And we will see you next Monday, sir.
Cheers, pal. See you, bro.
All the best. Take care.
See you, Dave.
Cheers,
Bye-bye. Brad? Oh, then it has gone quiet. Oh, no. Still getting a bit of feedback. Maybe it was you then, Brad.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is. It might just be the way this house is built, to be honest with you, because I can hear noises from upstairs. Floorboards and that are quite loud to hear, but there's nothing running. So I'll figure it out one day. I'll figure out what's causing the noise.
Top 10 battles. Just give it a shout out.
Yeah, it's my YouTube channel. We do football top 10s. We do Battle of the X's, which is an outfield 11. Me and Anthony, who's in the chat below, follow his socials. We do that every week on a Thursday at 7:30. And this Wednesday, I've got to start getting my laptop working and organised because I've got another one of my quizzes to do. I've got a Spurs fan on there. So if you want to see a Spurs fan bottle of quiz, check that out Wednesday. That'll be on 8 p.m. as well this week.
I actually said two things to him. First of all, I asked him, I don't know if you were in at the time, how many people were in this quiz, to which he didn't know the answer. And I said, well, I think it's only going to be you and Brad, so you can't come third then.
Oh, you still find a way.
Yeah, and then he did say he didn't watch the match because he was out around his families and was out walking the dog. And then I said, well, he didn't lose the dog, he managed to hold on to the lead, which I thought was very good. I was quite pleased with myself. Guys, thank you so much. Well, guys, one of you's gone. Brad, thank you very much, mate. Check out his link is in the description below on YouTube, and we will speak to you Thursday for the preview show.
Yes, looking forward to it, mate. That'd be fun.
Cheers. Take care, buddy. All the best.
Take care, mate. See you later.
Cheers. Yeah. So, thank you to Brad and to Dave. Like I say, the Michael Owen and Ron Atkinson of Leicester Till I Die. I can say that now they're gone. I really can. But this is then.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Yeah, coming up next, we have got Wednesday night, having a night off tomorrow. Ian Hume in the latest edition of The Conversation. Excuse me, our one-to-one chat. Looking forward to that. Hume. What a player he was. What a player he was. Got his signature on the shirt somewhere. I think it's being mounted at the moment. And then next Wednesday, Stan the Man. Hopefully, if he remembers, he is coming on a week on Wednesday. But like I say, this coming Wednesday, 9 o'clock, join us for Ian Hume. Really looking forward to that. Really, really, really nice guy. Very softly spoken for the little tiger that he was. Thank you to everybody that was watching on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and Twitch. And if you've been listening on your favourite podcast platform, thank you so very much for lending me your ears. I will let you have them back now, full of wax, but you can have them back. Thanks so much. Here's Arnie.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
I'm looking for Dr. Goodhead.